Alright, so I came across this extra $100, and I was trying to figure out what would be the best option for me to do with this $100. Of course, I could go out and buy something that would sit in my house and collect dust. I'd probably enjoy it for a couple of months, and then it would just sit around and be of no use. I could go buy something that would sit in my shop, which is actually where this came from. I sold something from my shop, and I got an extra $100. So no sense in buying something to put something else in my shop to collect dust. So what can I do with this $100 that is going to be most beneficial to my family and I? Got to thinking about a couple of different options, and I want to talk about two of them. And of course, one of them is to invest it, and where to invest it. And so I started looking at some stocks, or not really looking, but just thought about an option to go for, and that was Ford Motor Company. As of December 24th, 2015, their shares were $14.31. Now, this would be an investment for a long-term investment, not for buy today, hopefully to sell next month or the month after, because to do that with $100, the price of the share would have to come up enough to cover the purchase cost and the sale cost, depending on what broker you have. I don't know if there's any out there that actually have it in one lump sum or not, but I know that the stock trading company that I use, they have a buy sale and or buy price and a sale price, which is pretty much the same. But to gain enough money using only $100 would not be feasible for a short period of time, and that's why I'm going to look at this as a long-term investment. Now, for $14.31 with a $100 bill, would not buy a whole lot of stock, but it's for a long-term investment. We're going to look at the dividend, and the dividend that Ford is paying currently is 15 cents per share. Now, this is information that I just got off the internet today. Today is December 25th, 2015. Merry Christmas. And now, to understand this, this shows that the date of record, December 30th, 2015, is when you would have had to be holding the stock to earn the 15 cents per share, and that is at the end of the day. It doesn't mean you can buy it on December 30th or October 30th and then sell it on October 30th and hope to get this 15 cents. You have to be holding the stock at the close of the day on October 30th. Now, this dividend was paid to the stockholders on December 1st, 2015. So, depending on how many shares you had, determine how much money you got. Now, there are some brokers out there that they allow you to take that money and to reinvest it into that stock to where you can buy partial stock. Now, there's some out there that I don't even think they give you that option. It's either it's just paid to you. It's credited to your trade account. So we're going to look at it from the standpoint that we're going to use $100 to buy some Ford Motor Company stock and earn the dividends and have it reinvested. And we're going to see how it works out for us for 1 year, which would be 4 quarters. And Ford currently, they're doing quarterly dividends. Some stock or some companies, they will do annual dividends or semi-annual dividends. Ford, for example, they do quarterly dividends. I'm not too sure if there's any companies that actually do monthly dividends or not. I haven't seen that. There may be some out there, but I haven't seen them. But anyway, $100. How many shares is it going to buy us? This is simple math right here. All we've got to do is divide it. Excuse me, I'm still learning this calculator. I just bought it. Actually, a week ago. I haven't had much time to use it. I've had this one for 16 years, and it still works. It's just might be a little hard for y'all to see it. I'll just put some numbers up here so that y'all can see the example. Why? I don't know if y'all can see the lines in it that are right in that area from top to bottom. Kind of cuts the numbers off a little bit, but it still functions properly. It's for a 16-year-old calculator. Not too bad. Texas Instrument, they've done pretty good. See how Casio does. Alright, So for $100, how many shares are we going to be able to buy? Just take our 100, plug it in, divide it by 1431. Looks like we're going to be able to buy 6.99 shares. Surely we can figure out how to come up with enough change to round that up to 7 whole shares. And so that's what we're going to do. And so we're just going to set this to the side right here so we can have some paper to do some math on. And to understand investment and money, you have to have a good understanding of math. That is a key thing for you. If you don't have a good understanding of math and you want to be financially successful, I would advise you learn math. Okay, so 7 shares. How much is 7 shares going to cost us? So it's simple. 1431 times 7, that's going to cost us $100.17. I think we can round up 17 cents from somewhere. Now in this scenario, I'm not going to count the purchase cost, since this is going to be calculated based on a long-term investment, and I'm just going to do it, a 1-year calculation. I'm not going to sit here and count through 20 years, which of course, if this is a scenario that I was actually going to do, it would be more like a 10, 15, 20 year investment. It would not be something that I would be hoping to get a substantial return on anytime soon. So I wouldn't worry about the cost of the investment unless it was just crazy, like $20 or something. That would be ridiculous to pay $20 for a $100 investment. That's just stupid. So we won't even go there. But anyway, so $100.17. We've got 7 shares. Hold on a second. I'm gonna put the 7 over on this side. Okay. So we bought it. 1 quarter is rolled around. What has that done for us? So to figure out, and we're going to do these calculations based on Ford Motor Company having a pretty stagnant year, where their stock is going to be $14.31 1 year from now, which is unlikely, and then their quarterly dividend is going to be 15 cents per quarter for the next year. Unlikely. I mean, they may change. They may do 25 cents next quarter. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people got some F-150s for Christmas and it really boosted their earnings. That didn't happen under my tree. That'd be nice. But anyway, so we've got 7 shares. Real simple math. Multiply it times the 15. Can y'all see that pretty good? I think so. If I can keep the glare out of it. 7 times 15. And so we've got $1.05. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, but looking at it for a long-term investment. Now, with the option to have that $1.05 reinvested in the stock, you need to figure out how much stock is that going to buy you. And again, we're going to calculate based on Ford still having shares at $14.31 3 months from now. I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to go up or down depending on the market. So what we would do is take the 105, move it to where there's no glare on there. We'll take the 105, divide it by the 1431, and that will give us 0.0733. That would probably round up to a 4, but we'll just leave it like it is. And what we'll do is we're going to add this together. Now that's how many shares we have. Now again, to figure out the next quarter is real simple. We just plug in our partial share with our other 7, multiply it times 15 cents, and we've earned 106. Now, same thing. How much is that going to earn us? Take the 106 divided by the 1431, and we've got 0.0740. Again, that would probably round up to 1, but we're just going to do it like that right there. Do some quick math, see where we're at. Alright. Our third quarter, we're at 7.1473 times our 15 cents per dividend. We've earned $1.07. All right. Notice every quarter we're gaining a penny, and that's how it is. It just the money is reinvesting. You're getting those partial shares, and of course, just imagine if you had $10,000. I mean, it'd be a sizable increase. So, of course, based on the same numbers, though, just a couple extra zeros behind it. So now we're at we're at 107. And we need to figure out how many shares or how much of a partial share we're going to get for that. 0.0747. And again, that would probably round up, but we're just going to leave it like it is. And so that's going to put us at 0.2227. Alright. Last quarter, we'll have completed a year of earnings, and we're going to have that reinvest also. Like I said, I'm still learning how to use this calculator. Alright. So, we've got 7.2974 shares. Now, if the stock is still $14.31 per share at the end of a year, we've got one whole year here right on the paper, 7.2974. To figure out how much we've actually got right here gained, we need to figure out what our value of our shares is. And that's going to be 104.43. We'll round that up because the banks like to round up. So that's great. Now working our benefit right there, we'll gain a penny. So 104.43. Now figure out what kind of gain did you actually do. Instead of just having the actual numerical value, you want to know your percentage. That's really important, because if you don't know how much percentage you're earning, then you may be missing out on better options out there. And so what we're going to do for that is we need to figure out what the difference is in between this and this. So, real simple, 104.43 minus 100.17. Simple math. $4.26. So, not bad for a $100 investment. Now, to figure out the percentage, again, that's real simple. Take your 426 divided by your 117 cents. Of course, we got that right there. Just hit divide. 100.17. And now, this gives us a long decimal format. To figure out percentage, it's real simple. All you do is you drop your decimal back 2 places and you got it. Some people, they like to see it with your percentage on that side of the decimal. It just works out easier for them in their minds. And so to do that, all you do is multiply times 100. And there we go, 4.25. So that is our percentage of gain on our $100.17 investment. So that's not bad for you here. Right now, interest rates on savings accounts and checking accounts are pretty pathetic. If you are putting money into a savings account, I sure hope that it's only there for emergency fund purposes, and that you're not hoping to actually consider that an investment. Because if you are, there are other options out there that can give you a much greater return. And if you've got money to invest somewhere besides your savings account, and I'm talking about like, $2,000, $3,000, it's nice to have, $1,000, like Dave Ramsey says, $1,000 emergency fund. My $1,000 emergency fund had a severe hit this year: a washer, a water heater, and parts on a vehicle. And of course, that's just the way life goes. So, but anyway, and I just wanted to say that I'm not full-fledged Dave Ramsey doing all that, because I can't do that. I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I can't go out and run a pizza route. That's just not for me. But he does have a lot of good insights. I'm not down on him. I really commend him for all the stuff that he has. He's, if you have the time to sit down and look at his information that he puts out there on money management, he has some really great ideas. It's just for me, I choose to do it a little bit different, and mainly just because the biggest thing is I'm not going full-fledged eating beans and rice every night. I like to have a little bit of meat every now and then, at least once a day. So, anyway, we've gained 4.25% on our investment into Ford Motor Company. So now, the other option. Now, if you've got the money to invest it, it's great. But some other people, like myself, has another thing that we have to look at. Debt. Don't you just love it? Just like I said, the washer and the water heater situation with my wife and I this year, that kind of hit us pretty hard. We weren't expecting that, and of course that set us behind, and it has caused us to take on a little extra debt this year that of course we were not expecting, and which thankfully this year we have paid off a lot of debt, and we're on track to do really well in that area. So now we're going to look at what can this $100 do for us on debt. Now, I'm going to use this example. I'm not going to say who it is, but I have a certain credit card with a particular company that's well known, probably throughout the world, and the interest on it is 16.9%. It's not too bad. I know some people that have much more ridiculous interest rates, and thankfully this particular debt is rather small. Looking forward to possibly paying it off in June or July of 2016, which is going to be really great. Of course, as long as we don't have any more weird situations. Hopefully my washer, my water heater won't go out again, and my dryer is doing really well, so we'll just see how that goes. But anyway, 16.9% is not too bad. Of course, I've got some debt that's much less than that, and those are a little bit higher. And of course, like my mortgage, that's, I've got 5.5% on that, and that's great. Of course, right now, I think some interest rates are as low as 3% on mortgages, which if you have the opportunity to buy a house, right now is a good time to buy. So, anyway, back to this. So, if I put $100 on my debt of 16.9%, how is it going to work out for me? Now, this is going to be a little bit different because this is going to be a monthly compounding effect. Now, you could get a kind of a snapshot of how it would be. You could take your 16.9, whatever your interest rate is of your debt, you could take that and multiply it times your $100, or however much. If you want to put $1,000 on it, how much will you save? Now, this is going to give us a 16.9, which is $16.90. That's how much we would save throughout the year. But that's not an exact amount. That is a rough estimation, really, because that's not counting your monthly compounding effect. And so what you're going to do is take your 0.169, divide that by 12. We're going to break it down to a monthly interest rate. Okay, we've got our continuous threes right there. So we're not going to have those continuous threes. I hope y'all saw that. I don't know if the glare was on there or not. So we've got 0.01408. That is our monthly interest rate. Alright. So we've got month 1. We're starting off with $100 paid down. But if we don't pay it down, this is the scenario that I'm going to look at. Is if something comes up and for some reason I'm not able to pay this debt off before the next year, or before the end of next year. And so how would $100 of debt at this rate cost me? So I'm going to say, what is my cost of debt? What is it? What is it going to cost me? So we've got $100. It's real simple. For the first month, just take your $100, multiply it by the number that we've figured to be our monthly interest. And of course, your creditor, they're going to round that up. They're not going to drop that 8 off. So for month 1, we've got $1.41. 101.41. Simple math. Alright, our second month, what you've got to do is now you're going to take this number and you're going to multiply it by that number. So 101.41 times that. And again, your creditor, they're going to round that up. So we've got 1.43. Alright. And again, going for month 3, you take this number. You're always going to use your last one because that is capturing your compounding effect. Every month that you don't pay this off, you're going to start paying interest not only on this, but also interest on the interest. That's compounding. It's just the way it works. And again, your creditor is going to round that up. Alright. For our 4th month, I'm just going to do one more month. And then I'm going to show you a different method. And again, the creditor is going to round that up to 147. And so we're at 105.76. Alright. So, just 4 months in. And we're already at 105.76. So, $5.76 is already how much it has cost me to hold on to that $100 debt. So, to get through the whole year, of course, I'm not going to sit here and go through the whole year by this method. You can use your own time and your own calculations to figure all this out. But I'm going to show you real quick how to get through the whole year on it. And what you do is, of course, you're going to take your interest rate. That is your monthly interest rate. Now, we have to add in your base. I guess I'm going to call it your base. I don't know what you really want to call it. But we've got to add this in there. Because we've got to have, each time we multiply, we've got to have that $100 automatically back in there. And so just plus 1. It don't matter what amount you have here, just plus 1. Even if it's, $300, you're going to do plus 1. Or simply just do 1. The 1 is a representation of your debt. Then don't even do no signs or anything. Just put 1.01408 or whatever your interest rate is. So we're going to do that. And you're going to use your power sign. Now, of course, on this calculator, your power sign is right there above my finger. On other calculators, you're going to have a sign like this right here. And again, I would prefer to use this one, but y'all probably couldn't see it very well. So, you see our cursor is flashing up in the little box. And for however many months you want to figure, and so in this case we're going to figure for a year, and so that would be 12 months. So we've got our 1.01408 to the 12th power. We've got 1.1826. And I mean, some of you that know math, you can already see where we're going with this. Now, multiply that number by your debt. And for this example, I have $100. If you have 200, do 200. If you got 700, do 700. But I'm going to do 100 because that's the number that I'm figuring. And if I ran this all the way down, doing this method that I've done on these 4 months right here, this is the number that I would come up with at the very end, and that would be $118.27. And if you want to try it, just do it, and you'll see. That's what it's going to be. That's just a real quick, real simple method to do it. Now, if you don't have a calculator with that power option, you can do it this way. Do your 1.01408 times 1.01408 times 1.01408. You can do that 12 times. You'll come up with the exact same thing. So, here we are. $118.27. Now, you can already see what the percentage of loss actually is, and that is $18.27. Now, to compare the two, we've got this $4.26 gain, $18.27 lost due to debt. Which is the better option? I don't think it takes a genius to figure this out. And the way you can really see it, if you need to, we can take actually, you're going to start with your gain. If I was to put my money into Ford instead of putting it on my debt, I don't know if you can see that, there it is, instead of putting it on there, so I would gain $4.26 from Ford Motor Company. But at the same time, while I've got $100, if the debt sits on my card for a year, if it sits on there, I'm going to lose $18.27 due to interest. So in reality, my actual loss, not a gain, an actual loss, would be $14.01. Now, that's for $100. I would lose $14. Does it take a genius to figure out which is the better option? No. And that is to put it on my debt. Investing into Ford, that's just going to have to wait till another day. Right now, the better option is to put it on debt. And that is what I'm going to do with this $100 that I earned by selling something from my shop that was just collecting dust and not going out and buying something else that is going to collect dust. Thank you. I hope you really enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it. Please do subscribe, and I will have more videos in the future. I've got a budget that has worked flawlessly for me for one whole year. I have had many budgets, and I've heard many different people talking about budgets. And the budget that I came up with during the holidays of 2014, and I started on January 1st of 2015, I'm still using it. I'm getting everything together for my 2016 budget, and I'm going to put a video up showing it, explaining it. Hopefully it's not going to be so detailed it's confusing, but I'm going to have that up pretty soon. And then in the future, I'm also going to do videos on 401ks, on buying a house, and other different options dealing with money, and of course math. I really do enjoy math, and so I'm going to share stuff about math and more things, just whatever. If I decide to, change a part on my vehicle, I might throw that out there, and maybe somebody can benefit from that. My goal is to help somebody, and also at the same time maybe learn something from the viewers by questions. Maybe your questions can prompt me to do some thinking that I haven't thought of before and help me to learn more. So thank you again for watching, and please do subscribe.